Yay, Stacie Rae Belonga. Thanks for coming on the podcast. It took us a minute to make it happen, but here we are. Yay. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I'm honored that you asked me to be on with you. We connect on so much stuff, so I'm excited.
We did, and we ended up talking like at midnight my time or something, or 2:11 my time, like 2 in the morning your time on FaceTime the other day. And we were like, we need to record this stuff for our audiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was you were like, I'm going to call you, or you call me. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And we were both like drinking our white wine and just like connecting on, how we're feeling right now and coming back into, this space and coming back to ourselves, really.
Yeah. So like before we started recording, you were saying you felt like both of us got knocked off our blocks. And I'm like, the hell yeah, we did. Tell the audience what your block knocking off happened. Like maybe give them a little backstory.
Yeah, I mean, for a long time, my goal has just been kind of to live a life of freedom. I homeschool, I have a business from home, I am not in a relationship. Everything about my life, I want to be freedom because I feel like there's been so many things in the past that have held me back, whether it's the school system or a job or, an abusive relationship or whatever. So freedom has always been like my main goal. And so I grew a very successful business. I loved it. I loved being in a leadership role. I loved being able to help other people to that freedom, whether it was, feeling, free in their bodies of, aches and pains and things like that. But also bringing them to freedom at home too. And I was super duper passionate about it. It was like my whole life. I would yell it from the rooftops every day. And back in October, I guess would be 2022, I lost my best friend to cancer.
Oh
And
my
it knocked me
God.
off my square so hard. It's so hard to even describe it, but everything that I was excited about, everything that I, you know, lived my life by, I don't know. It's so hard to explain, but I just let it all go. I let my business go that brought me home to my baby. Everything that I was excited about, just the excitement was no longer there. I went and explored, some other business opportunities that just felt really, looking back now, low vibe. I think I was in such a low vibration that I needed to be around other low vibrating people, which is so awful because I'm so conscious of that now, like wanting to be around other positive people and other people that are trying to grow and be and do more because that's what I want. So yeah, it knocked me off my square for a long time. And I recently had someone reach a hand down and kind of pull me back up out of that hole. And it's just been an incredible transformation in a matter of just weeks. Like you had commented on one of my posts, like, girl, I see it. I see the excitement. I see the fire. And it's
I
just
got goosebumps right
wild.
now. Yeah.
It's just wild how something can throw you so hard off of
Your
your
unicorn, I call it.
yeah, because it's like this was something I was so passionate about. And my friend, I feel like, would want for me to live my best life and to you know be happy. And but it's such a wild loss for me too, because I've lost my dad. I've lost a cousin to suicide. I've lost a lot of people in my life that I really love, but losing your bestie, the person that you tell everything to, your person that, knows more about you than anybody else. I don't know. It threw me for a loop that I never expected. And so to come back and be feeling so good, I feel like we're connecting on that because I know,
Yeah.
you losing your hubby, it was like we were
Yeah.
both very highly motivated in the space, and a lot of times talking to each other, like, how can we help each other? What can we do in our different spaces? And, keep sharing space and spreading our good vibes to the world. And I think right around the same time, we both just,
Yeah. So mine was September 21. And like it knocked me off my block. And I feel like I want to say with what you're saying about it being your best friend and the person you tell everything to. You tell everything to her about your business too. And was she in in your brand as well? Was she in your business arena as well?
Not really, but
Okay.
super supportive
But
of it.
still your sounding board to all of that. Even though you made the decisions in your business, you had this sounding board. And this is what I lost. I was so motivated. It literally was just me and my husband. And I was investing in a million business coaches, therapy coaches, assistants, Facebook ads specialists. Like I was fully invested in every aspect of my business and fully motivated. And then when I lost him, I lost myself.
Yeah. That's
I
the best way to
completely,
say it, really.
I
You just
completely
lose
lost
yourself.
myself. And I
Yeah.
knew because my mom had died now 4 years ago now, and it's almost been 2 years since my husband died. So I knew at that time how I hustled so hard after my mom died. I just completely ignored my life, myself, my health, everything. And when he died, I was like, I'm not doing that again. And then I just took a whole year off, you know?
Yep.
So how long was it between the time that you were super motivated and to right now? Right. So what, a year and
I
almost a
mean,
year.
yeah, maybe even longer, because I think in the space that I was in, I was already kind of one foot out the door because of the people that I was surrounding myself with, not feeling like that love and support and things. But then I was already kind of second guessing things where I was at. Um, and then losing her, I was like, it's not worth holding on to this shit. It's just not worth it. I'm not happy. I've been trying to force this thing that I was super motivated and excited about for so long, and I'm just going to let it go now. So
Yeah.
I just let it go. And it's wild how letting it go brought me back to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so let me ask you this, because this is my experience. It's like coming back. Do you see yourself showing up differently than you did before?
1,000%.
Okay.
1,000%, because there's some magic in knowing um, that I did it before and I can do it again. In making sure I'm surrounded by the right people and having boundaries in place for the energy suckers. I'm an empath and I want to solve everybody's problems and I want to help everybody. But I also know now, especially going through what I went through, you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. You
Yeah.
can't help someone that doesn't want to help themselves. It's hard, and I've come back with a greater level of appreciation. I don't want to say that I took for granted what I had, because I believe my journey led me here on purpose. I think it was very divinely guided, because even looking back now, it's like, it doesn't really make sense that I let it go. But I think that it was part of my journey and I needed that. I needed to come back with like this fire and excitement for it, being surrounded by the right kind of people that I knew could support me better on my journey and believe in me as much as I believed in myself. And yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you totally did. Yeah. So like for me, I came back different. I was so in the hustle mode before and put myself completely last. Like I made videos before where I would, I would used to wake up at like 10:30 and just fix my hair really fast and be on a Facebook Live by 11, and then just start going, hustle all day, and be like 2 p.m. and I'm sick to my stomach because I haven't eaten, and then not walking or not doing anything for myself. It ends up showing back up around in your abundance, right? You might end up hustling for a minute, but you're going to burn yourself the fuck out. And then you're not serving your people right if you're not serving yourself. And so that's a big thing coming back for me, is I had to like baby step in and be like, oh, I see you with this lack mentality popping up, thinking that you have to hustle in order to receive, or like you said, pulling people up to this opportunity that we are offering. That's not, I'm not doing that. I'm
Yeah.
here for it. The people that are ready, and those people are high vibe, ready to make a commitment, ready to make an investment in themselves through whatever it is that you are offering, what I'm offering, right?
Yeah.
Because what we said on that, the FaceTime video, and in a post, like, remember I got so fired up, I made a post about it Cause I'm like, we are waving the flag of solution to our audience. We're holding it high, and our audience, they feel it. And that's what I felt in one of your posts. I was like, oh, hell yes, girl.
Yeah. Coming back with confidence, coming back and believing in the process, coming back and being in a place of flow. And I'll tell you something else that I don't know why it took me so long to recognize this or realize it or whatever. I was listening to, I think, Amanda Francis podcast. Do you know who she is? She's
You brought her up before. I know her name, but I've not followed her.
She's created a bunch of other coaches in this space, like Manifestation Babe was one of her students, Andrea Crowder. Anyways, the point is that I listened to one of her podcasts that I know I've listened to before. You know, sometimes when I'm in the car, music is just not doing it for me. I'm like, I need something to fill my cup. I need something to, my mind never stops, you know, so I might as well like listen to something that's going to fill my cup. And she had said, I notice that if I'm working on manifesting something, I need to move my body. I need to go and work out. And something clicked for me where it's like, there's a lot of times that I would, you know, and I'm reminding myself of this in this process too, because I'm catching myself doing it again, sitting at my kitchen table and hustling and, you know, wanting to engage with people on social media and get in their inboxes and create these relationships and you know, but I noticed that when I go to work, because I have to work right now until I'm back home full time, it's temporary. But when I go to work or when I leave the house or when I'm shopping or when I'm working out or when I'm just outside playing with my son, I will get messages of people like, hey, sign me up. I'm ready to go, blah, blah, blah. So for me, I was like, oh, I have to move that energy or something. There's something about me being in movement that is manifesting. And I never knew that about myself before. And there's a lot of times I look back and I'm like, oh, dummy, you should have known that, because it happened over and over. I would go and work for my friend Amber, who owns a bartending business. And it was like a joke between us. And I just got goosebumps, us and other coworkers. I'm like, every time I'd show my phone, I got another message, and it was like a joke. And that should have clicked for me. Get out of your house, go move, sit and think about what you want, but go move it out.
Yeah.
I know, it's wild. All these years of me doing this. And it took me, you know, sometimes stepping away and just sitting in your grief. I mean, it sucks, but I'm thankful that I'm able to process my feelings and let that go, because I think if you don't process your grief or your traumas, it can also manifest in your body as illness or disease or whatever. So I'm thankful, you know, for that time. And then I allowed myself to feel those feelings. It also created a lot of like really, I don't know, thinking about, you know, things like that maybe showed up later. You know, you're just processing so much, and, you know, broke my freaking heart to leave before. I was like, you know what? This industry broke my heart. I'm done. My best friend died. Like, I was just really going through it. Maybe that's what a dark night of the soul feels like. It sucked. It was
hell yeah. That's exactly what you went through, because death, right? You died with her. There were so many pieces and components of your identity that is not there anymore. And you have to like re-identify with yourself. And like, not that they lived their life for you, but they were a component of your life and your business and your identity. And when that's gone, you got to baby step back in, you know? Yeah.
It's wild that you just said that too, that she was part of my identity, because there was never a time, like, especially since being a mom, where I would like, you know, go out in Traverse City, go anywhere, do anything. But when I did, I went with her, you know, and it's like we were always together, you know, short little Stacie and Tori with the fluffy hair and the laugh, you know. It's like she was part of my identity, you know. Any vacations, you know, we always wanted to like go back to Florida together, and, you know, she was my roommate. And yeah, I guess I didn't really think of that till you just said that, but 1,000, like, Hubblicious was part of your identity. He was part of your brand, you know.
I know, he was part of my brand, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Murphy, your son, he's part of your brand.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Anybody listening that maybe is not an entrepreneur and maybe a brand, every component of our life is our business. We bring it in because it's a likability. It's a relatability. That's what we're wanting to relate to people that relate to us, but also we can lift up in a way when they're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he was the major part of my brand. It was so hilarious because he hated it. He would see me come with my phone, like getting ready to do an Instagram story. He'd be like,
oh my God.
But he would participate. I would make him, but he would get angry, like if I did it without him knowing, or I took a picture and posted it without him knowing, right?
Yeah.
And it's super cute because I have a boyfriend now and I absolutely love him, Jacob. And he's like down for it.
Yeah.
I'm
Awesome.
like, make a funny face. I'm like, are you sure if I post this, very vulnerable stuff about our relationship on social?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't care.
I can just feel his energy, that he is just like so laid back and like, all right, girl, whatever, let's go.
He is so laid back and so quiet. And it's so funny because Philip was very, very quiet too, but much more anxious, very much more nervous, he was a Leo. So he's super worried about his appearance or what he was perceived as. So I think that's why he was very nervous about being on the social. And like Jacob is complete earth sign. So he's like, I don't care. Super
what
cute.
are you? What sign are you?
I'm a Gemini. I'm an air sign.
Okay.
So I need that earth, boy. I'm so happy to have this guy with this earth,
I'm a Pisces, so I'm just like
emotional,
I think that's why it took us a
flowy.
minute to even get on the podcast, because my emotions are like, I get stressed out and I start bubbling up, or I just freeze. Can't do it right now. Can't do it. I gotta be in flow, or it's not gonna feel right. And that holds me back sometimes. That's been something that I've definitely, had to work with, is not stopping, the flow.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you take a lot of baths?
No.
Okay. Because my daughter is a major Pisces and she has to be in the bath. She has to have it. It like completely resets her. So I don't know, maybe that will help. But so I another question I have, and that has shown up for me very recently, and I'll share why it's shown up for me, is because I was hitting like 150K the year, that he died, right? And then some of that sustained me for the next year, because when we call stacking income, which obviously you have passive income, right? It's coming in. So I still had some, probably for 4 or 5 months, that I was off. But then, so here I been coming back the last 6 months pretty good, doing podcasts, all that. And just, I wasn't getting as much traction as I used to have. Well, although I do say I did get hacked on Facebook and lost thousands of followers. So maybe that's a component, but one of the things I had to like come to Jesus with myself is you're not making $10,000 months right now, Brandoline. Yeah, you used to. So how did you get there? You know what I mean? And so you know what? I got to start from where the beginning.
Yep.
And I know things that worked. I just didn't want to do those things or exchange some of my time for money, like doing readings and stuff. But it's what got me to where I was, and doing people paying me $12,000 just to be working with me for 6 months, per person. And so I loved that, and I'll love it again. But so starting off things like a meetup group, or, going back to some readings, or sucking up the ego, I guess.
1,000%. I'm going to grab my water really quick. Speaking of water, getting back to basics. I mean, I will say this, I was really scared to start over. So just for the sake of your followers, I'm just going to kind of say what I do, so it's a level of like understanding. But basically, I do network marketing, and I left a $1 million team behind. I had people all over the US. We sold $1 million in vitamins, and I quit. And I left it behind, and I'm starting all over again. And it's really scary. It was really scary and hard to put my pride aside. But I will say, and maybe this applies to the followers you lost too, and I hope this doesn't make it back to like some of the people on my old team, but like sometimes I think there is this purging, and some people that have to not be a part of your journey anymore because it's holding you back. You can build again, but maybe you're a little pickier about the people that you work with and the people that you bring on board with you. The people that bring the light and the positivity and the excitement, and we're not like pushing and pulling and dragging people with us because we believe in them, but they don't believe in themselves.
Oh my God, can we just say amen to that?
I mean, I just feel like, yeah, it was scary to start over. And I know it's scary for you to start over again too, because it's like, hey, I'm back. And we think everyone's going to judge us. And like, let's be honest, there's always going to be haters out there. And like, I feel sorry for them because it's like, no matter if you start a new job or you're in a new relationship or whatever, oh my gosh, she's having another kid. It's no matter what, people are going to judge you. But like, I think that you've experienced this too. I'm so scared that I'm so happy that I didn't let being scared or like let that fear hold me back, because more than anything, I've seen nothing but love and support. Like, we're so happy to see you back. Oh my gosh, we missed your face. Because I was so depressed. I wasn't even really posting on social media much. I love to like go live and like share my story and like share pictures of my fun and adventures. And I just was like, ugh.
That was me too. I used to do like motivational posts like every day, just like a little statement and like getting people ramped up. And I literally just even stopped posting. And then slowly I was just like sharing my vacations, but not saying the words that I used to say, the spirit flowing through me, here's my vacation, but I have something inspiring to say about it. And so that's just recently come back. You probably noticed that too. And
the flow's just there. I'm like, oh, I have so many things.
People are like, oh, I missed that you're talking about this. I found your page again, because people are slowly finding me. They're probably like, geez, where's Brandalee been for 6 months? And then when they find me, they're like, holy shit, what's been going on? Because my whole body looks completely different.
You look amazing.
Thank you. It's crazy, right? It's crazy.
It's crazy how happiness and your soul feeling like alive and fulfilled again, like it radiates.
Yeah.
It's wild.
And so for you too. Like, I couldn't believe your post. I was like, oh shit. And so you're back, all your posts. And like, I noticed too, because we have a lot of like mutual friends, because I used to live up in Traverse City too. I noticed too that some of these mutual friends that we have may not ever purchase from or invest in either one of us, but you know what? They're freaking supporting the shit out of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's what feels good.
It's really cool to see that. Yeah.
And that's what happened to me too, when like I just did a post like yesterday talking about, I'm back, one day I'm making 10K months and one day I'm going back to the basics. And so many people are supporting that post because here's what it is. It's like being fucking authentic.
Mm-hmm. And people can meet you back at the beginning too, which is really exciting for some people, because I think when you're super far into your journey, that can be intimidating to people. Like, how do I join her where she's at? I'm a beginner. I'm a newbie. Well, now we can show them, like, listen, we walked away and we came back and we started all over again. And I think there's so much power in that. And it's so inspiring to so many people because, we were daring enough to just do it. Like, I'm not going to live this life of just being stagnant and depressed forever. I know I'm not meant for that. Like, let's go. Let's get back to like the happy and I don't know, living in purpose. And it's wild too, because, in the space that I'm in, you see a lot of people kind of outgrow the network marketing industry and they go on to be, business coaches, or, they teach other people how to do stuff in this industry. And there have been times in the past where I thought, like, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe I'm not being enough. And stepping away and then coming back into it, I feel more confident than I ever have that this is my purpose, because I'm just so happy. I just feel like, damn girl, you were being freaking hard on yourself before, blocking yourself. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to put into words, but it just, when you step away, you come back, it's just like, wow, okay. Yeah, this is where I'm supposed
to be. I think too, that when you step away and you start coming back and you question, well, at least for me, it's like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And then I ask myself, in my heart of hearts, what is it that I want to be doing? And I'm like, this is it.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way I'm going to get a job. Are you even kidding me? Hell
Dude,
to the
going
fucking
back to
no.
work has ruined my life. I'm
Right. So,
like,
I mean,
I want to go to the beach every day. I want to go visit my parents for 2 weeks. Like, I want to do whatever. I said, I want to go to the beach every day. Don't you miss that? Yes. Oh my gosh, don't smack my booty on this podcast.
I love it.
This is eight. I
That's
forget what
Murphy,
I was
by the
saying.
way, for the
That's Murphy.
people
Little
on the
turd.
audio, they won't be able to see his cute
Oh,
little
they won't
face.
be able to see him.
But
My
but that's
8-year-old.
Murphy. That's her coworker / son.
A little business partner.
Yeah,
He's really kind of brought me back into it too, because the first time that I was going to go live, coming back into it, and it's crazy what little people hear and retain. Hopefully none of the bad stuff I've ever done, but I was standing in front of the camera just like, oh, nervous and pitting out and like, oh, I can't do this. My hand. Can you stop, please? Get your foot out of the freezer. No! And he goes, Mom, we're not going to do anything until you do this today. You need to just press the button and talk to the camera like you're talking to a friend. It's like,
wow.
oh my gosh.
I love it.
So cool. The stuff that they hear us say and they retain.
I love it. I love it.
Okay,
And
so
I'm still like reeling about how you were saying like your audience watching us walk away, and we're back because this is what we're freaking called to do. And maybe it's a great even like post or something to be like asking our audience, like in your heart of hearts, what is it that you really want? And are you willing to go for that? Right?
yeah. Okay, Murphy, seriously, please. Do you want me to take you to the movies after this? You need to please stop. Oh my gosh. I hope you can edit this out because this is a lot. Murphy, please stop. I'm being serious. Okay.
And so we were talking about asking our audience in their heart of hearts, what is it that they really want? And I wanted to share on here that it doesn't necessarily mean that people that have a career, like we're not asking you to like, what is it that you really want to make it a career? Because my neighbor was on the podcast and she's a flight attendant. And she's gone through this like spiritual awakening, or she's going through her spiritual awakening. And in her heart of hearts, she wants to help people with trauma. She wants to use this spiritual knowledge. And so she kept thinking, well, I must be doing the wrong thing. I must be doing the wrong thing. Well, then she started realizing she's showing up on these planes in this energy. And she's talking on the jump seat, right? Where the flight attendants sit together. She's talking to these women on these flights and enriching their lives and like asking them and holding space and asking them these valuable questions, right? So it's like in her heart of hearts, she's doing and being what she's so passionate about in her already existing career.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think there's so many things that people want to do, more of. And like you said, you're not really asking anybody to leave what they're already doing, especially if you love it. But don't hold yourself back from doing more, being more, if it's what you really want. Like only in your heart of hearts, like if you want more, if you want to do more, I think it's just the hardest part that I've heard people say over the years, like in the space that I am in, is making that first post, making the first step, saying like, hey, I'm going to do this. Just jumping all in. And I think too, sometimes people hold themselves back because they'll step in kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door. And like, oh, I maybe kind of might want to do this. Well, your audience then feels that, and they maybe kind of might want to support you. It's like, if you're going to do it, like go all in, no matter what it is. And I think we had to step away to come back and be able to do that, because I'm showing up more in my power than I ever have, because I know now what I definitely don't want. And I know what I had before. I don't want to say I took it for granted, because I really, truly believe that my journey was divine and I was meant to leave the space where I was, maybe stagnant's not the word, but just not being supported. It was like a relationship, right? It wasn't giving me everything I needed to be my best self, allowing me to show up authentically, as really fully myself and coming back, now I'm like, oh, I'm back better than ever. I am so loved. I am so supported. I know that my journey led me back here. And there's nothing more powerful than that belief.
Yeah. And that's what your clients are buying, is the belief. They're buying your energy. They're buying your belief. Same with my clients, right? There's a million spiritual awakening coaches out there. There's tons of people in your industry, in the same industry, doing, similar things, but they're buying from you. They're investing in themselves through you because you believe.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't know why this is popping into my head. So I'm just going to say it because I believe things pop in your head for a reason. But I was listening to like a TED Talk YouTube video I stumbled on the other day, and it was Brene Brown. And she was talking about how she'll go and do these different speeches, and people would ask her, like, to wear a suit or to not swear, or I don't know if she takes the Lord's name in vain, but like whatever their stipulations were. And she was like, nope, there's a million other coaches in this arena. If I can't show up as myself, I'm not going to be able to give you my authentic self. And so like, I think that's like a powerful message to tell people too, is that like, don't feel like you need to be like other people. Show up as yourself, because when you're trying to be like someone else, you also can't really connect with your audience or the people that you really want to do life and business with. Like, you have to be able to show up authentically, or it's just not gonna work.
Yeah. Very early in my entrepreneur journey, I was doing that. I was like, oh, I can't say fuck. I have to like fix my hair, or I have to have this big pink stripe on my hair so I stand out, like whatever her name is.
Yeah.
There's just different coaches, or I have to curate my posts like so.
Yep.
My pictures have to have this filter, or they all have to be pink on my Instagram. Fuck that shit. Right.
Yep.
As soon as I started dropping the F-bomb, showing up in my pajamas, or drinking my celery juice while I'm recording a podcast, telling people how much it makes me poop, telling my boyfriend broke my rib while we were having sex. It's like, it's true. It really freaking hurts.
I don't know how you're talking or laughing.
I'm like, holy, it's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
But people are like, and then same with my YouTube videos, right? I could be like all those other people, put this special cover on, make it blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm just showing up. Here I am showing up. I'm waving my arms, and I'm telling you what it is that I want to teach you today, or help you grow through. And everybody coming through my YouTube is like, you are so authentic. You're not like these other people that are like very professional and stuff.
Well,
I'm me. You're just you.
Yeah, you don't need to be an influencer. And, it's crazy because that's something else that I've coming back learning too, is like, if you create something so fine tooth combed and glossy and shiny, and it's like, that's really hard for other people to, they may be inspired by you, but like, if they're wanting to do what you do and step into that space, that's something that's really hard to duplicate. That puts a lot of pressure on people, and it takes away from them being able to show up and share their message, because it's like, well, I need to wait till I have a better camera. I need to wait until I have better lighting. I need to wait until I can spend, the money every month for Canva or Lightroom or all these different, things that you want to use. Like, showing up the way that we show up shows other people that they can show up like that too. And it doesn't have to be, polished.
Yeah, man, do I agree with that. Right. Because you're right. Like, I follow some big coaches that are making millions a year. And sometimes I'm like, well, how is she doing that on her thing where the words are just flying? And I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. But it's true, because I've been business coaching, right? And I'm going to be stepping back into that space as people are watching me build this shit up, right? They're going to be like, oh, she know what she's doing, right? And then I'll be like, come on, I'm going to be supporting you to do the same thing. It's easy. It really is. It doesn't have to be hard. There's, I don't know how many people are on this freaking planet, but especially like, your industry, my industry, we don't have to be local. So we have followers from all over. It's just like, let them know that you could be freaking real, and you could do this. You could be in the online space working from home. It's so possible, and it's so wonderful, and the freedom, like you're saying.
Yeah. It's wild too, because you think about these people that are, they're millionaires, and, that stuff can come later. And I'm sure it will for both of us too, where, we'll have it in our budget where not only are we going to want to do more things, but like maybe we're going to want to impact more people. Maybe you can employ a single mom to send out my, thank you notes and mailers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
those guys all started where we did too, and they were not polished, and they probably grew a lot of their base audience doing stuff like we're doing. Everyone has to start somewhere. You have to, like, you can't compare yourself to someone's chapter 250 when you're on your chapter 1. You just have to take that step,
Yeah.
and just, one step at a time, and try not to get caught up in this like comparison game.
Yeah.
That's really.
Comparison-itis. So like I don't follow pretty much anybody on my Instagram. I think I follow like 90 people. That's it.
We talked about this the other night too. This is one of the things that I remember we talked about. We talked about if we are not inspired by somebody, and it took me a long time to work on this within myself. This is something I had to work on. I want to be inspired by people so that I can feel like what they have is proof that it's possible, right? But sometimes it's still really dang hard. And if I feel jealous, freaking unfollow, because that is so bad for my energy and my vibration. You're like flying high, like, oh, let me go see what someone else is doing. And then you're like, wah, wah.
Yeah.
They're so amazing. I suck. Like, you have to be careful about who you follow. If they're not inspiring you, then freaking unfollow.
Yeah. So like I follow Manifestation Babe. She's Manifestation Babe, but some other coaches that are like, some business coaches that maybe I was right in peers with, right, that are now just still doing freaking amazing, right? Because they kept going. You know what I mean? Unfollow, unfollow, unfollow.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yep.
because you need to come from your authentic place, your energy, your goal, and your confidence has to flow through you, not being filtered by anything else. And so if we unfollow these people, it's not going to you're not going to be influenced or anything.
Yeah. And then allow yourself the grace of unfollowing and refollowing if you want. There's been times where I'm just like, you know what? I cannot freaking follow this chick right now. And then a year will go by and I'm like, oh, you know what? I really did enjoy her when I was in a higher vibration or I was feeling better about myself. And then I'll go follow again. Like I'm not, so stuck in my ways that I don't allow myself to flow with like, okay, well, you know what? I feel like shit right now. So I'm not going to follow this person that makes me feel even more like shit. Or I feel really amazing. How can I like level up to the next space? I really was inspired by this person before when I didn't feel like shit. So I'm going to go follow them again.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that. Well, you're conscious. We're both making conscious decisions of how our energy needs to be in order for us to show up as the most powerful and confident.
Yeah.
Base.
Yeah.
It's so important as an entrepreneur. So, wow, this is freaking awesome. So I want to make sure all my audience knows where to find you because you are amazing.
Thank you. They can follow me on Facebook. It's Stacie Rae Belonga. It's Belonga. It is not phonetically correct. I know that. There's a whole history lesson I could take you on, but I won't. Same thing on Instagram.
Perfect. Yeah. And you are so amazing. You're such an amazing person to, like we always inspire each other. It's like we seem to like run into each other sometimes on the social and be like, what are you doing? Like, how can I support you? And like, how's your mindset? It's like, oh, I have so much fun, touching base with you here and there. And I'm so grateful that you came up on the podcast. I feel like everybody's going to be so inspired by this. And it's just making me think more about, talking to other entrepreneurs about coming back from a grief standpoint, because I had somebody recently that messaged me and she's just now coming back to her business and she had lost her husband. And I was like, wow, girl, this is crazy. So I might have her on here too. So
yeah, there you go. You have to allow yourself to just feel it. And, I think the biggest thing that you and I the biggest gift we've given to ourselves is just the gift of grace. It's life. You can't always be on. You can't always, as much as we would like to say you can always be successful, like it's okay to go with the ebbs and flows of life. And, you get knocked down, it's like, how long are you gonna stay down? You
Yeah.
know, eventually you can get back up and show back up in a space, and you'll be surprised at the amount of people that will actually come out and support you. I think the fear of like us thinking what other people are going to think, people don't really care as much as we think they do.
Yeah. I think I've gotten more support than I ever imagined.
Same.
People have been following my journey, my grief journey. I mean, I feel so freaking loved, and I felt so supported in the moments that I was like laying on the floor, like literally on
Yeah.
the floor, it just melted, you know?
People don't
So,
know how to support you in grief, honestly. I would have so many people message me and be like, I don't really know what to say. And I'm like, I don't really know what to say either, but I appreciate you just reaching out and sharing that, you're thinking of me. And, so I think it's people are as much of a part of your success as they were of carrying you kind of through that grief. It's like, oh my gosh, that was so hard for me to watch you like that. And, I was sending you love or whatever, but it's so good to see you back. Like it's part of their like, journey too. And they're just so excited to see us crawl out of our freaking hole.
and you know what I think too is it through the grief process and stepping back and sharing some of that grief is maybe maybe we didn't realize how much we were impacting these people before that grief, because they maybe didn't comment on some of our posts, but damn, as soon as we were going through grief, they are in droves. So they've been watching the whole time, right? If you
Yeah.
think about it, they were watching the whole time. They just weren't in the space to maybe invest or make a decision. But when you're sharing that vulnerable moment, they were there. So they're watching all the time.
Yeah. It's wild to see the people that have, hopped on board with me. And I don't know if you've experienced this, but like, me being in that space for 5 years and just feeling so good and having this success and earning these vacations and my Audi, and all these things. And then to fall off and then come back and be able to experience this all over again. They're like, okay, all in. I believe you now, because they saw me like
Oh yeah.
posting or not showing up. And then I'm like, listen, I'm back. And I got to tell you what I was feeling the last 9 or 10 months. I never want to experience that again. So that's been really big for my belief too,
Yeah, I think that's true. They're like, okay, she's back and she's actually killing it. So,
Yeah.
all right, fine, I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what's
sure if
that's what's
I
happening up in here. So yeah,
Yeah.
people are excited to be back, and like my my group support stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
starting to do local stuff too. That's what else I decided to do is restart something locally so I could get this bigger following, because I have a huge Michigan following.
Yeah.
I post in there saying, if you want me to come to do a retreat in Michigan, and everybody's like, yes, 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 yes. And here in
Yeah.
Nevada, I'm like, meh, meh, meh. I mean, our retreat that we just had was amazing, but yeah.
Yeah. Right. And you posted in like a local group.
I made a meetup group, and like I have like over 25 people in there already, and I booked out this class I'm teaching next Wednesday here at my condo, so it's gonna be fun.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It'll be good for you to have that like support and following there too.
Yeah, for real. And then of course I'll push them into my YSAC community, your spiritual awakening community, and then they'll be in there too. So
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, girl. Well, it's
Thanks
awesome
so
catching up with you, and
much.
thanks for
Yes.
sharing all this valuable stuff with the audience. And so yay.
Yeah.